So, how many of your companies are using Tableau currently? Okay, some of you. Clicked? Anybody? How about Spotfire? Not a whole lot. SSRS, main reporting tool, OBIE. Okay. So, right. So there's a lot of room for opportunity, so to speak, to possibly improve that data visualization experience. Tableau is a great product, kind of been the new kid on the block, and has really done a wonderful job, actually, by really adhering to a lot of the principles that Phil just mentioned. That's kind of their mantra, to ensure that they build visualizations in that simple but cosmetic way. And Power BI from Microsoft has been a story, over about the last 18 months, and it's been quite the journey. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it as a customer, but it was kind of a SharePoint version, and I loved some of the demos, but when it really came down to trying to utilize it, some of the file size limits, and it's all still based out of Excel, it just broke down a little bit. And what we've done with, most of you have seen in the Power BI preview over the last 6-7 months, there's been quite the evolution. We've ripped it out of side of SharePoint, created its own BI environment, and really added a lot of visualization and capabilities over the last couple of months. So I'm going to walk you through some of that. But I want to go over some of these features that we have in Power BI. And what you're seeing up here on the screen right now is this is the 520 bridge in Seattle. I don't know if anybody's been in Seattle, but there's a toll bridge. Okay, it's really high tech. They have sensors there to track all the traffic that goes over that bridge. And this visualization is nice because it shows you, kind of a snapshot of what's going on, and it's real time. It's updating in real time for you. This is a capability you have when you use a tool like Power BI. Is to send it in real time and see it update. You kind of see in that middle, number of cars, an average speed chart there. Obviously, as the number of cars grows in the morning, your average speed, comes down. So those are obvious. You see the toll amount that's been paid today. So they made $90,000 just this morning so far. This is every single day. I mean, they're making millions off of this bridge. I hope we have a toll bridge that we can fund our new stadium with pretty soon. But these are the type of features that you can take advantage of inside of Power BI that most of the tools that you're having, or really any of the tools that you're using right now, you don't have this opportunity. So, just kind of showcasing this as a come in, but I'm going to take you through a little bit of the Power BI story. So one other capability that you've added, I think Clayton in the last meeting showed you the Power BI designer preview. It kind of showed you that experience a little bit. Well, now we've changed that on July 24th when this came out. This is now the Power BI desktop. Okay. If you look at this, kind of reporting surface and the reporting space, you have a lot of control over your visualizations that you do not have before. So, as I come into, a bar chart, you can modify these visualizations over on the right-hand side. I can change these to other graphics. I can modify my colors if I want to. It's something as simple as colors, believe it or not. We heard it all the time. It's like you're providing all these capabilities or these different visualizations through Power View, but I can't change my colors, man. I have a palette. I have a company logo. I want to be able to make things like that. So, some of these capabilities, when you really look at data, you don't necessarily always think that a color is a big deal, but when it comes to branding your data for your company, it can be a big deal. So these features have been added into the Power BI desktop. Power View. How many of you have used Power View? And last hand for a while, Power Query. So some of you, right? Well, this is important. I mean, you all, if you're BI professionals, you are dealing with ETL, okay? You're in SSIS, you have SSIS packages, and some of what you're doing in there is very complex, and you want to continue to use those ETL processes. But when it comes down to simple transformation of the data, there's no reason that you can't use tools like Power BI Desktop and Excel. So for instance, if I have data going over into a data view here. And I want to be able to massage that data as it comes in. I can go get data from news sources, whether they be CSV files, OData feeds from the web, Oracle, Teradata, anywhere I want to go grab data, I can go grab to be able to refresh into my environment here. The other thing that I can do is I can transform that data. Oh, looks like because I don't have access to those files on my USB drive, I can't show you these. My apologies. But I'm running this off of Gary's desktop here. But you can transform those in a very Excel-like manner, so you can right-click on fields, remove them. You can filter out fields by an Excel, greater than value. So your transformation process within Power BI is very easy to use. Don't load this. Let me try this one. Go get the data from a CSV file. So I'll just show you for instance. Here I want to edit my data. And this is where I can use these filters, right? So normal filters that I'm used to from Excel, I can filter things out. I can remove columns. I can choose columns and, decide to keep the ones that I want, remove others, right? So a lot of capabilities. I can do pivots. I can unpivot data that's tabular across, 2000 through 2015 different columns. I can right-click on those and do an unpivot. How many of you like writing pivot statements in SQL? I don't, okay? So it can be very unfriendly. So some of the capabilities in this tool, don't look at it as simple, transformations. You can do a lot with this. And what you also see on the right-hand side, whenever you go through kind of this data acquisition process, it'll keep all the applied steps that you've applied. So there's 10 things that you've done on that data, it keeps that lineage, so you can keep going back in time to see what you did to apply that transformation. And then whenever you go to refresh that data, anytime you want to refresh data, go and replay all of those steps, okay, that you've completed. One other nice thing, and I won't be able to fully show you because I'm running off at a different machine, is I can match that data up, right? I mean, and if you're familiar with Power View, you already know this, is that ability to have those relationships between relational data sources, my log files, and something else that comes from the web, right? I can mesh all those together, and in this example, I've matched up, per capita income that came from Wikipedia, okay, with my CSV files that I imported in. One other nice improvement is when we manage relationships in here, well, you no longer have to do, the drag and drop and, decide what those are. It'll auto-detect relationships in different files you pull in or different sources. So it'll at least try to make the best guess it can on what those relationships should be. So this is the desktop tool. I mean, everything's just really come into an easier to use mechanism. You can change tiles. I can modify data colors. I can go into any given data set and add measures. I can just create a new measure right here inside of the visualization. And again, it's not going to allow me to do too much because I'm running on it. But right here is where I can start typing in my, my DAX formulas that we use inside of Power View and Power BI. You do it all from this. I don't have to go into Power Pivot to do it and then come back in or do part of it in the browser. So I can do it all right here from this desktop tool. And once I've completed on my desktop, I can publish to Power BI directly from this now. So I don't have to go into to PowerBI.com and then upload and then replace the file. It's a really seamless process now to have the publish button right here. And you'll even see in the next Excel version, you'll have a publish button. You can still do all the same stuff you've been able to do in Excel and into Power BI. You can still do that in the next version, but this makes it much easier to publish up. Let me go back to my browser, talk about a couple other things. Data sources. So some of you are probably familiar, but if I want to come look at how to get data from databases, SQL Server Analysis Services, whose company kind of has this issue with the cloud? They don't really want to put their data up in the cloud. Okay, it happens, right? Well, with SQL Server Analysis Services Connector, you can connect to that data on premises. Okay, all you have to do is install the Analysis Services Connector. Okay, it's fully an outbound connection, so you don't have to get into any of those ugly DMZ or firewall issues. It's all outbound connection, and you can then connect to your on-premises analysis services tabular model currently. Multidimensional is coming, but you can connect to that from here. So all you're pushing up to Power BI are the visualizations. Take full advantage of this environment. If you're using OBIEE or SSRS, right now you should really consider this, because all your data can stay in your four walls. You push visualizations up, you close your session, all that data comes out of the cache, and then there's nothing that you have that's uploaded to the cloud. So consider that. That also gives you role-based security. So if you have role-based permissions applied to your analysis services model on premises, an effective user gets pushed down in that query, and it'll only bring back that information that user can see. So those are big steps for Power BI. That's what we didn't have, for a good course of a year, over a year. All these, the ability to connect to on-premises data, and that's no longer a refresh either. That's just real time. If I have direct query set up, it's all real time data that I can load in as well. Some of the other new features in Power BI that you may not have seen is I can get organizational data. So this is the ability for you to start collaborating within your organization. So all of these, are within Microsoft. You can't go in and show the data, for instance, our HR business insights. But you get the idea that I have the ability to take a dashboard that I've created, and I can very easily then go and create a new content pack. So I'm going to come in and create a content pack. And now down here, here's the dashboards, reports, and data sets that I have access to. Which one of those do I want to put into a content pack, create my nice little logo on it, and then I can invite people. I can either make something public to my entire organization, or I can invite people that are in certain groups that have access to this. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that's a new way that you can share data and collaborate. Another way that we've set up is the ability to use groups. So these are actually Office 365 groups, and you don't have to be an Office 365 user anymore. This all stands on its own. But we've taken that technology so that if you want to collaborate with your team, then you can simply set up a group workspace, create a group. It'll check to see if that group is available. Then you can enter in, private only people have been, only members can see the data inside of this, and invite your group to it. And then you have 10 people that can all collaborate on the same dashboard, see all the same information. And that's a great scenario for things that, obviously like SharePoint, team sites, et cetera. So it's a very localized collaboration to just your team. Content pack is something that's better to publish out to everyone. This is something that's better to be used for a team that's trying to go through data. Does this make sense so far? I mean, these are pretty cool features that we've added. I mean, I've been on this journey for a while, and this is an exciting product where it is right now. We aren't quite the king of the hill yet, but we are catching up rapidly with some of the, Tableau and, Clicks. I mean, those are our competitors in this space, and nobody can beat us on price. You can start with this for free. You can go out there right now with your organization's, your work email address, and it'll sign you up, be able to get a free account. You can come in and do basically Power BI desktop. So I'm going to show you today, right now, with the Power BI desktop and the dashboard that I published. That's something you can do for free. You can go get your data from your on-premise sources, be able to publish it up, and then be able to explore your data all for free. Okay. Now, of course, we have a very, we have a pro SKU, $9.99 a month per user. That's going to allow you to do things like connect to analysis services on premises, do data refreshes from on premises, do content packs. So those are things that are in our pro SKU, but still $10 a month, that's $120 a year. If you have an EA discount or something, that's even less. Compare that to our competitors, that's a very good price. So here's one of the dashboards that I had just created. Okay, so this is credit card data that I have, kind of transactional data for credit cards, and these are dashboards. So each one of these items, then I can click through and be able to see that underlying, report that gives me more detail. So I can come in, I can look at different, maybe the West region. I can see how that looks over time by quarter. Be able to kind of see how it shapes in the pie. So this is different reports that I have access to underneath the underlying inside the dashboard. We've added new chart types, for instance, like waterfall charts. This is over a month-over-month percentage, growth or decline in the approved amount. So if I want to now slice that by industry, I want to say, hey, let's just look at the restaurant industry and let's look at our gift card set. Well, now I can see, for restaurants and gift cards, I can kind of see that overall view of how my month-over-month percent looks. Up above, I have my bubble charts. I can come in and see that, hey, I have a pretty high per capita income in Connecticut, but they don't seem to be spending a whole lot. They don't have a high approved amount. Well, what's wrong there? I can see immediately that my month-over-month growth is awful. So that allows me to then go further into detail and maybe actually see some of the information. So matrices, this is something that we didn't have earlier in Power BI. So this ability now that I can go in and select maybe the north region, brings me in, and now if I want to look at, what was it, Connecticut, Connecticut by itself, now I can see the details for Connecticut on a map, a fill map visualization with multiple filters that I can apply. Oh, I think we did say it was just for gift card, right? So now I can see, and then once it did that, bring that back in. Now for gifts in the north region for Connecticut, I can see all the details for, the type of information I'm trying to analyze. And again, these are all, I can move these around, do whatever I want, all of that. Another nice feature is I can edit these tiles, and I can say, hey, let's just use a custom link for this. So let's go in HTTP. I mean, if it's going to be the company logo, it should probably take me to the company website. Right now, I can open up, another web page from my Power BI dashboard. Let's think about this for a second. Anybody think of the application maybe if I have some, public-facing SSRS reports that I want to link up to, put parameters in there, so there's some opportunity then to be able to do some of that cross, between your current reporting environment and what you can offer up through Power BI. And then, of course, the ability to ask questions. So, I can say, show me approved amount, right? For Alabama, the prepaid versus gift, for April to November 2009. There you go. All right, so I can type in, get that data insight. Once I have this data, now I can even inside of here be able to say, hey, let's change this visualization. Let's add some data colors. Show all the data colors. Prepaid, I like to show that this really awful, ugly color, and then that one right there. And now once I've done that, I can then pin that to my dashboard. All right, now here that is. Takes me back to my question. Make that smaller. It's not as important, but that allows me to make a dashboard specific to me. If I'm the regional manager and I really want to care about Alabama, nobody has to build a visualization for me. I can search the model, be able to grab the data back that I want in a Q&A, pin it in my dashboard, and now I have data that's important to me on my dashboard. Any questions about any of this so far? I do have one more really cool thing I want to show you. I'm going to take up probably another 5-10 minutes here. So where we're going with this is this ability to integrate these visual tools with the rest of our stack, right? So I don't know how familiar you are with let's do the hands thing again. Anybody familiar with Stream Analytics? Azure Stream Analytics? Okay, that's how we were getting that toll bridge dashboard. We're bringing that data in through Stream Analytics, aggregating the data there in a SQL statement, and then pushing it out directly to Power BI. We have other offerings. So, if you look at HD Insights, what we offer through our big data clusters, Spark. You can connect directly to a Spark cluster now from Power BI. So if you're a big data user and you're starting to get into using Spark, that's the cool kid on the block when it comes to big data now, right? So, these things you can connect directly to also. One other thing that we're doing is we're integrating our machine learning. And you're going to be hearing this Cortana Analytics Suite. Our machine learning offering is really broad right now. We have a lot of capabilities. It's all been offered kind of a la carte right now. We're making that a little more consumable for our customers. So you're going to hear about Cortana Analytics Suite. What that is that means all these advanced analytics capabilities from streams to machine learning to big data to data lakes to Spark, all of those into one SKU that you would be able to purchase. Yes?
What's the target date for release of that?
Well, the great thing about that is most everything in the Cortana Analytics Suite has been already in either preview or general availability for anywhere from 6 months to a year. I'm going to show you some of that right now. Is the idea of making that more consumable, right? Making a healthcare vertical for that, or retail vertical, so that you can kind of see what these things can look like without having to go through 15 different services and understand that. So let me show you a little bit how you can take advantage of this. And what I'll do is I'll move over here and let's go to Studio. Sure. Okay. Participation. Who's been to this site before? Machine learning site? Anybody? Okay, a few of you, right? Okay, I can come out to the gallery. You have the ability through our machine learning to create, experiments, right? So you can use all your favorite algorithms that you're grossly overpaying for SaaS to do, and you can do it all inside of machine learning in a really nice, easy workflow capability. So here you're seeing kind of, this nice machine learning APIs that we offer out publicly. So this is some of our IP that we're allowing you guys to use. So, for instance, text analytics. Okay, let's try it now. Simply come in here, ask a question, or just say, what's the sentiment? That's what we're trying to find. All right. Okay, sentiment, 75%, picks out some keywords there. So this is the type of thing you can do inside of machine learning. You can build models to predict, to do classification, income classification, credit risk. There's some stuff out there. Would you have survived the Titanic crash? Okay, binary classification stuff. So there's a lot of capabilities out here. But here's one that's publicly facing, and you can get access to this. So I signed up for this text analytics service. It's in the Azure Marketplace whenever I signed up, and then I can just connect to it from Power BI. So here I am. I'm in my Power BI desktop. I want to show you get data. See the, let's see here, where's that? See this OData feed? So that's basically an API. You can call an API within your organization. Anything that follows OData, you can get directly into Power BI from that. Well, our APIs follow that as well. So machine learning APIs follow the OData feed, as well as anything that's in the marketplace. So if I come into the Azure Marketplace, click next, you're going to see some different algorithms I have access to. So for instance, customer churn prediction, okay, text analytics. This algorithm has, basically a sentiment algorithm, to get a positive or negative sentiment, as well as, key phrases. I can look and see what are the key phrases in there. I can get all of that in here as well. So in this one, what I've done, let's edit this query and see what this looks like. I've connected to I've connected to a CSV file that's sitting on this USB drive stuck in Gary's machine, okay? Think about this like every night I get a new batch of analysis on, new reviews, so to speak, on our data or things that we might be offering to our clients, right? So here's my CSV file. If I go back up, I can see that, column 1, column 2, column 3, renamed some columns, and then I added a custom column. See this get sentiment right here? So that's the OData feed. When I brought it in, it just created the function call right there for me, and then I created a custom column. Let's go ahead and do that together. Maybe I'll do that on this one. So I can add a custom column, call this sentiment, and I just call that get sentiment function. In this case, it was column 3, brought that over, click OK. This is how you add machine learning into your data that you have locally. Now I have this sentiment right here, and it's going to give me back what was the output of that. So it's going to give me a score of that sentiment. So if I select this, click OK, it's going to give me that score back from running that API, running that web service in the cloud. So pretty neat, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, don't load this. Here's my little scorecard here, and I'm going to go into my USB drive, go and edit my file. And let's just say we get some new entries. So for the gift card, if we were going to act like we're a customer and we wanted to give a review, good review, bad review, really appreciated our service I received recently while I was buying Christmas gifts. Okay, so I've added some new lines to my CSV file, and now within the desktop, I'll refresh this. There we go. Good went up, right? So we got sentiment back that shows that that was a good review, okay? So I know I'm showing you text analytics here, but think of this as any problem you're trying to solve with a predictive scenario, okay? If you can build a machine learning algorithm that allows you to better predict some of your scenarios, you have the ability then to put that directly into your PowerBI, graphs and visualizations and desktop, and think about running a refresh on a nightly basis and being able to get those results back of what they're doing from an advanced analytics scenario versus just always looking back in time at what you have, right? So those are the types of ways that we're integrating further into, the stack that we have to provide more advanced capabilities, and not just the ability, which I do like going in and giving, I do really love going in and having these conversations, right, about pretty dashboards and pretty charts. We're doing it as good as anybody right now, but, keep in mind some of those other ways we tie into the stack and the things you can do from this tool set. Okay.
I see the machine learning stuff that's kind of priced on a per transaction basis. Is that right?
Yep. So machine learning is the same way. It pretty much works where you can get free access. So many like an hour or two worth of learning or training time a month, and then it's a per transaction basis. I can pretty much promise you that per transaction is so small, it's minimal, compared to what you would pay to really bring in some of our so-called competitors as far as data science goes. So don't be afraid of fearful of a per transaction cost. Couple other things. I checked my notes real quick. What you can also do now that you couldn't do previously is pull in. So if I go down to reports, here's one M2M simple. You can now just be able to view Excel services files through Power BI, and now it's going to want me to sign in. I'm not going to do that, but anyway, I can bring in Excel files and show them. Oh great, I lost it. I can bring in Excel and just have any of those files that I want to include in my data set for reports. You know that our business users still love to use Excel. And then the last thing I will tell you is those visualizations that you were seeing, some of these visualizations I had on the screen, what's really cool is Microsoft has open sourced these. These are all D3 visualizations. Anybody heard of D3? I mean, there's a lot of you that are being told, hey, your visualizations are not cool enough. Okay, I have a Java developer, and he can go spend 200 hours of his time so he can create a really cool visualization, right? When he should be doing Java development, he's too busy trying to create some visualization. Like Phil was saying, it probably isn't going to give you a whole lot of good information anyway. A bar chart is going to be better from an analysis standpoint. But these visualizations have been open source, and what you can do also in the near future is to be able to create your own D3 visualization, contribute to our packages, or you can take your own D3 visualizations and add them into PowerBI.com as well. And I've seen some really cool demos of being able to do that with real-time data coming in. So that's a really nice space that we're into. So if you don't like these visualizations or they're not good enough for your the people in your organization, go have your Java developer build the D3 visualization, have them give it to you, and we can import it right into Power BI. Yes.
Are those free? The API you're talking about?
Are they what?
Are they free? I mean, I'm Java developer.
Yeah. Those are free. So I mean, as far as being able to import your own visualization, that's at least I haven't seen that we put that on the Pro SKU yet. That's an open source thing. GitHub. You look for Power BI visualizations, and you'll find it. Yes.
Someone on the phone had asked about the printability of some of these reports and where you can print from and can't.
Right. So right now, Power BI, that's an item we definitely have on our backlog. I mean, everything with Power BI moves so fast. Excel, Power View, you can wait for 2-3 years for updates. That was really cool at the time, right? Now we're already behind there. This tool gets updates every week. We push updates to the Power BI service, and we push updates every month to the Power BI desktop. As far as printing goes, this is all available on iPhone, Android, and Windows 8 tablets. So you can go download PowerBI.com right now from the iStore, whatever they call it, Google Play, and you can then take that, and on those applications, you will get the ability to then take certain dashboards and then be able to share those, email those, that type, annotate them, and then email them. So it allows you to do a little bit outside of that. They are still adding some capabilities in the tool to allow easier print as well. But this is really a visualization tool. Use it, interact with it, and that's how you're going to get the most value out of it versus printing it out on paper. So, good question. Any other questions before I?
Is this like an executable you install on your desktop, or is this out on the cloud, or how does it work?
So the Power BI desktop tool, and if you're familiar with how we did Power BI in the past and how we do Power View with SharePoint, the Power BI desktop, think of that as the equivalent of Excel. You would install the desktop tool on your machine, okay? The nice thing is now you're not tied to a 32-bit Office install that the rest of your IT department won't give you. You can install this; it'll install 64 bits, so you have a lot of headroom on your data. And you install this and you start authoring. So you do that data exploration inside the desktop tool. And then once you've authored it in the desktop tool, that's when you click publish, and that's when you're going to publish it up to PowerBI.com. Okay, so this isn't like a web server that you have to install in your local environment. We do have offerings for that, and Gary's going to go over, some of the other capabilities. But this is now you're taking the data you do on your desktop, you're publishing up to PowerBI.com. Software as a service. If you think of it like you think of Salesforce, like you think of ServiceNow or any of the other cloud tools that your companies are probably already using, this is BI as a service basically. And You know, the only really the question comes in for this is when people start saying, well, I have this confidential data, and I don't trust that Microsoft's going to keep my stuff safe. That's why I pointed out the analysis services connector. You're all BI professionals. Most of you are familiar with analysis services. You can create those models inside of analysis services, keep them on premises, and then you're just using PowerBI.com to visualize data that stays on premises. Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Nope. Anybody on the phone that has a question? Of course, I'm not sure how. Yes. Hey, look. Okay. Printing. Okay. All right, guys. Well, what are we doing?
We're gonna pass out email forms. We're not gonna critique Steve because it's with Microsoft. We're gonna give him a pass on that, but you can critique my talk, and then we're gonna take a short break, and then Gary Bell will give us a little deeper dive on different reporting technologies.
Yeah.